Hello students, welcome to online classes of Sri Mahavir International School, Kishangarh, Renwal. I hope you all are well at your home. Today we will discuss the chapter number 5 of history, that is the Vedic age. And in previous video we have discussed that the Vedas are the oldest composed in India, and there are four Vedas, that Rig Veda, Samveda, Yajurveda, and Atharvaveda. And we have discussed that the Vedas word is originate from Vid, which means knowledge, and the Veda period is divided into two categories: early Vedic period and the later Vedic period. Early Vedic period is expand from 1500 to 1000 BCE, and in this period the Rig Veda is composed, and the second later Vedic period is expand from 1000 BC to 600 BC, and in this period the Samveda, Yajurveda and Atharvaveda are composed. And we have discussed that out of four the Rig Veda is the oldest text, and Rigveda have 1028 hymns. They are divided into 10 parts, and in Rigveda there are many prayers that offer to Agni, and Agni is the fire god, Indra that warrior god, Varun, Surya and other gods. And then after we have discussed that archaeological sources, that main archaeological sources of the Vedic period is pottery, and pottery is two type of pottery: painted grey ware and the black and red ware. And then after we have discussed that extent that there is a Aryan group that were living in the Ganga Yamuna Doab. Then after they set up their kingdom in Kosal and Kashi, and the another group that is Das and Dasyu. And we have discussed about some rivers name and their ancient name, like Saturdi ancient name and modern name Satlaj, Vipas that modern name Vyas, Purushani modern name Ravi, Askini modern name Chinab, and Vitasta modern name Jhelum, and Saraswati. And the main river of the Vedic period is Sindhu or Indus. All these facts we have discussed in the previous video. But in this video we will discuss the difference between the early Vedic period and the later Vedic period. Now let us start the difference between early Vedic period and later Vedic period. The first difference, first we will talk about the literature. In the early Vedic period, literature Rig Veda was composed during this period and served as a source to learn and study about this period. It means the main literature of the early Vedic period is Rig Veda, and main source of about the get information of early Vedic period is Rig Veda. And the literature of later Vedic period, Samveda, Yajurveda and Atharvaveda were composed during this period along with Upanishad, Aryans, Brahmins. It is believed that the epics Ramayana and Mahabharata were also composed during this period. Second difference, political life. During this period there were many tribes known as Janas, which each Janas were ruled by the chief of the tribe known as Rajan. The position of the Rajan was not hereditary. Sabha and Samiti were the tribal assemblies that helped the Rajan to take important decisions for the people in the Janat. Women also attended these assemblies. People gave Bali, a voluntary contribution made by the people in place of tax that helped in managing the Janat. It means political life there in early Vedic period there is a Jana, and each Jana have a ruler that known as the Rajan, and the not hereditary system. The Rajan was elected by the Sabha and Samiti, and women also have right to attend the Sabha and Samiti. And political life of the later Vedic period, the king became very powerful and the position became hereditary. The tribal assemblies also disappeared, and women's position also Dictated tax were collected in a place of voluntarily. The income from the tax helped the king to appoint official. For example, Bhagduta, the collect of the tax have been mentioned in the later Vedic text. The king conducted many ritual and sacrifices such as Ashwamedha, Rajsuya and Vajpayee that strengthen his influence and demonstrate his power over the people. It means the political life of the later Vedic period is that the king became the powerful ruler, the herediary system was developed, and the Sabha and Samiti this also disappeared, and women also lost their power. They have no rights, and the Bali that also become a tax, and another tax that was Bhagduta that collect to the tax have been mentioned, and another ritual system or sacrifices also developed like Aswamed Yajna, Rajsuya Yajna, and the Vajpayee Yajna. Next, economic life of the early Vedic period. People in the early Vedic period practiced agriculture with cattle rearing. It means the main occupation of the early Vedic period is cattle rearing. The Rig Veda suggests that cattle form the most important form of wealth of the people. It means in the early Vedic period, the main wealth of the people is cattle. The there were frequent battle for cattle. It means there were many battle for the cattle. The importance of the cattle can be judged from the word of battle givesti, which means search for cows. And the economic life of the later Vedic period. In the later Vedic period, agriculture seems to have become the main source of livelihood. It means the main occupation of the people became agriculture. It was facilitated by the use of iron tools for clearing forest and plugging. Shift from pastoral economy to agriculture economy seemed to have led to the rise of other art and crafts such as carpentry, weaving, jewelry making, dyeing, and pottery making. There seems to have been trade with different regions as well. Means the in later Vedic period, the main occupation became agriculture, and the other occupation also developed like pottery making, carpentry, weaving, jewelry making, dyeing, etc. Now, social life of the early Vedic period. During the early Vedic period, the Rig Veda mentions social classes on the basis of type of work people took up. It means in the early Vedic period, the society divided or the caste, there were not any caste. They were divided in on the basis of their work. It is also mentioned that people from the same family could take up different occupations. The early Vedic society did not have class or caste distinction based on birth. It means there were no discrimination on the basis of class, caste, or based on birth. But the social life of later Vedic period, during the later Vedic period, caste and class distinction became rigid. The society came to be divided into four distinct classes based on birth: Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra. It means in the later Vedic period, the society divided into four groups: Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra. Now, varied culture in India. While North and Northwestern India witnessed the Vedic period, different type of culture developed in the other part of India. Chalcolithic and megalithic culture were two such cultures that developed in the Deccan and South during this period. Now, we will discuss about the Chalcolithic culture. The Chalcolithic age is marked by the use of copper and bronze with stone. It means in this period, people started using of copper and bronze with stone. The Chalcolithic people built rectangular and circular houses of mud, mostly in cluster. Means they made their house in the shape of rectangular and circular, and they use for the making the house the mud, and they make their house in cluster. They have not equipment with burnt bricks. It means they have no burnt bricks. Fire worship seems to have been a very widespread phenomenon among the Chalcolithic people as fire altars have been found at a number of calculated sites. It means there were many fire altars that historians found in from many sites. The archaeological finding there giving indication of the system of disposal of the dead. The goods found along with the burial tell us a lot about the custom, practices, and social setup of the Chalcolithic culture. It means the burial that tells about the information of the Chalcolithic sites and their custom, their practices, social life. For example, at Brahmagiri, a skeleton was found. From Brahmagiri, a skeleton was found with several gold beads, two stone beads, copper bangles, and a conch shell, while other skeletons have only a few pots buried with them. This indicates there was a difference in the social status of the people. It means the historian have found two skeleton system and one skeleton system have gold beads, two stones, copper bangles and conch shells and another have only few pots. It means we can say that there was difference between the social status and people. Some may have been poor while other rich. Some may have been people of importance or leaders. Similarly, if collective burial belonging to the same period are found, it might indicate a tragedy or some sacrifices ceremony. The study of burial remains thus make the study of a culture even more interesting. Next, megaliths. Megaliths are large stone boulders or blocks of rocks arranged by people into a structure or a monument. It means what are megaliths? Megaliths are a large stone boulders or blocks that made on rocks arranged and in a structure or a monument shape. Many megaliths have also been built to mark burial sites. The practice of erecting megaliths date back to about 3000 years ago. It was prevalent throughout the Deccan, South India, Northeast India, and the Kashmir region. These megaliths can be found either on the surface or undergo. It means some megaliths are found on the earth and some underground. Some sites there can be many stone boulders circling a burial site or simply a single large stone standing on the ground. In the megaliths of Deccan and southern India, archaeologists have found some common features in these burials. Most of these burials contain black and red ware along with the dead body. Archaeologists and the historian have been able to have us about the social differentiate on the basis of the type of object found with the skeleton remains. It means the archaeologist or historian tells us about the different society on the that they have found the skeleton system. Many of the burial of later period contain tools and weapons of iron, skeleton of horses, equipment and ornament of stone and gold. In some of the megaliths there were more than one skeleton and historians also found some such megaliths there were more than one skeleton. It might be possible that people belonging to the same family were buried in the same place after their death. The bodies of those who died later were brought into the grave through the portholes. The megaliths could have acted a signpost to find the burial sites so that people could return the people same place whenever they wanted to. I think, dear student, you have understand the chapter and you will do the question answer of this chapter in your SST notebook. Question number A, B, C. You will fill the answer of this question in the SST notebook. Sorry, SST only book. And question number D, E, and F. You will answer these questions in your SST notebook. And thank you and have a nice day.